Hey, Taurus, Intuitive Soul Coach here with your Q4 October, November, and December reading. Welcome back to my channel if you're returning, and welcome if you're new. If you're interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video. All right, Taurus, I'm hearing right away here, finding a better way. Finding a better way. This could be finding a new solution to an old problem. For some of you, there could be expansion and growth in a specific relationship or an area of your life where you want to find a better way of doing things that bring you more success in your finances or a relationship. But I feel like it is going to require some new building blocks. And that's why you have building blocks as your first card out for October. Now, bottom of the deck, you have the Orphaned. Now, Taurus, some of you may have felt like you've been rejected, abandoned, left out in some way, shape, or form. But I feel like the next 3 months with your cards, this looks like you are finding a better way to perhaps rejoin your sense of self. And this could attract your soul tribe. This could help you navigate out of some shadows or some dark times if you've gone through them. But the Orphan card at the bottom, I feel like this is subconsciously built, right? That could be part of these building blocks. It could be some subconscious pain. But the reason why you have this card and it's showing up in the reverse is saying, wait a second, I'm really addressing some of these issues around perhaps attachment or abandonment or feeling isolated, lonely, left out. And I feel like you're seeking help, or perhaps you are the guide, the healer, the mentor, where other people are coming to you, or that could be a gift that you are discovering and you are opening up to. Now, I also see, because this is at the bottom of the deck, this may be coming up, and it may have for many years now, where you've been quite independent and you've done things on your own. But I feel like there's a shift here in consciousness. So the subconscious is being made conscious for you to bring something to light and maybe manifest an opportunity where you don't have to feel like you're doing everything all by yourself. Because this can be a very independent energy built on the foundation here of needing to do it all by yourself. So if you felt orphaned or left out or alienated, rejected, some of you were ostracized in some way, shape, or form, or you've left a family unit or dynamic, you've been left out in the cold, you may have been rejected from a job situation. I mean, you name it, you may have gone through anything. And this could even be 20 years ago. And you've built the foundation for yourself, which actually looks to be quite successful, but subconsciously there still may be a teeny tiny belief within you that says it's hard to let other people in because they'll disappoint me. And I feel like that's what you're getting rid of here, because you also have the yin energy right behind it. And this is the divine mother. This is the feminine energy about receiving help, receiving blessings, receiving guidance. And I also feel like by the end of the year, there's definitely a reward for all of your work, everything that you've built. Let's dive in. Now, building blocks is your key theme in the month of October. And I feel like you have set yourself up for success or set yourself up for love in some way. I mean, you could be in a relationship or a marriage where you've set a foundational block for yourself or your family, but I feel like you're addressing the cracks. And so there may have been cracks that started to get bigger and bigger over time, but you really didn't address them because you thought, well, they're not big enough yet. I still have some time. But we see here, specifically in the month of November, where it's time to really address something, get to the root of it so you can feel and live a more vital life. Vitality is showing up. I also get something with health, but we'll talk about that here in a moment. Now, building blocks was also a theme in Aries reading. So some of you could have Aries placements in your chart. You may be on that Aries cusp. You may be dealing with an Aries. Let's take a look and see what October is bringing in for you. Knight of Swords, there's the intellect. You're really thinking strategically here. And, oh, wow. So there are some people in the mix. We have a couple of queens. We have a knight. So it looks like there's action. Now, some of you, perhaps the foundation has to do with a mother-daughter dynamic. This could be two females, best friends, siblings, sisters. It could even be same sex, but it doesn't have to be just feminine energy. It could be two individuals that are ready to open up with each other. Now, Knight of Swords is showing up here in the reverse, so it almost feels like time. There's something with time. You may have thought to yourself, I'm running out of time, or time is closing in on me in some way, shape, or form. And I feel like that's why you're wanting to really address something or take action here in the month of October. Now, when the Knight of Swords shows up, this is someone who charges ahead. He voices his ideas or her ideas. This could also be the card of travel. Some of you may be building your life in a new area or a new location. There could be someone coming at you saying, hey, Taurus, let's build this up. Let's go forward here, march forward. And I feel like there may be a tad bit of hesitation here from one of these two queens. Now, we do have the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands showing up here. Now, the Queen of Wands is typically very, very confident. She's magnetic. She's creative. She's protective. She could be an excellent entrepreneur, but the Queen of Pentacles is over here a little more traditional. And so it's about blending perhaps the creative into the traditional, as in how can I make money doing what I love? For some of you, these two queens are your archetype. Okay, this is part of your dream. You want to take action and maybe exit the corporate world and go off on your own, because the Queen of Wands can be entrepreneurship. For others of you, you may be addressing some beliefs around, the traditional way of doing things. Perhaps how you grew up. Maybe this Queen of Pentacles is a mother figure. Now, the Duchess here is represented by the Queen of Pentacles, and you see that she's wearing this face full of white makeup, and she's holding on to this little piglet. And I feel like there is a strong sense of nurturing and mothering, whatever it is. It can be a child, it could be a business, it could be anything that she loves and wants to nurture and create. But sometimes it can become controlling, okay? And that's what we want to be on the lookout for, is control or even possession of some sort. Now, I do get this Queen of Pentacles. I feel for a lot of you, this could be someone else that you are dealing with. Someone who may have been a little materialistic, or they may have smothered, or they may not have been as nurturing, or they were nurturing to the point of control or dominance in some way, shape, or form. They may have had their own issues they have dealt with, of course, as we all do. But I feel like at the end of the day, it's like you're able to address these cracks, and you're able to say, I am not my mother, or maybe you're saying I am more like my mother than I thought. But I feel like it's not necessarily a bad or a good. It is saying, is this working for me or is it not? Is it vital to my life? Is it beneficial? Am I helping others or being a disservice in some way? So these two queens coming together, if this is a business transaction or partnership, this could be a beautiful connection that blends the best of both worlds. as long as control and dominance and ego doesn't get in the way, okay? Because there's action here. I see action being had, being taken. And then we also have the Three of Wands, which is forward movement. Now, Three of Wands is about manifestation and anticipation as well. I feel like you're anticipating a move. Some of you are a little bit nervous about this move because it is going to require, pulling out an old block, and it may feel a little bit unstable, but what you are replacing it with is something way more secure, because that old block, it was starting to rot, or it was, broken or chipped away, and it was contributing to, a faulty foundation in some way, shape, or form. And that's where this is coming in for you. So perhaps one of these queens represents you, but the other energy could have been from, 20 years ago, male or female. It's just represented as the feminine here. But I feel like you are marching is what I heard, not just moving, but it's like you're marching forward, which means I'm doing this. I have what it takes. And you could be traveling or working with someone. And if you are working with a person who may be very financially focused or material focused, I feel like that's their nature, or that's part of who they are. And you may be working with that energy in some way. This could be a significant other, but you could balance each other out is what I'm seeing here. You balance each other out. You may have a spouse, or if this is a same-sex relationship, someone could be traveling to be near you, or someone could be finding a new job that moves the family here. Now, I do see movement again, or travel, or flying. There could be flights taking place here with the Three of Wands. This is exploration and not being afraid to take that next move, because it almost feels like there's been a bit of hesitation, or it's felt overwhelming. Don't get lost in the planning is what I'm getting here. Don't get lost trying to reorganize all of those blocks to build the foundation, but then you don't build upon it. That's what I'm getting here with this Three of Wands. Don't get lost in the planning stage that you forget to live your life, okay? Because this is about dreaming, or even analysis paralysis, where you don't do something. It's almost like living in a fantasy within the mind, but not taking action towards it. And that could be why the Knight of Swords is showing up in reverse. Is it's saying don't be impulsive. Of course, use your logical mind, be curious, be open. But I also see don't be afraid to march to the beat of your drum, but there could be someone helping you along the way, because this Orphan card, perhaps you hesitate to open yourself up to this energy, because you may say, well, I could get there faster on my own, or, I can be independent or do this a certain way. But don't be afraid to let an energy in or replace what's not working. And that was a big theme, or a big message I heard before pulling your cards. Again, is don't be afraid to rebuild that foundation, but then continue building. Don't just stop once you've replaced it, because you have the Witch card showing up. And the Witch card is card 25 in this deck, 25 of the major arcana. For those of you that know tarot only goes up to 21 major arcana. So this is a bonus. And the Witch is transformative. This is all about magic and balance. And I feel like this is you, Taurus. This is the energy of being very, very gifted. You are very gifted. Some of you are a powerful force to be reckoned with, but at times you may have doubted your own skills, or you may have required or felt like you needed validation from others because of some sort of abandonment or rejection. Or maybe you've pushed away others, and when they try to validate you or compliment you in some way, shape, or form, it's like you didn't fully believe it. You didn't fully embrace it. And that's what you are meant to work on, because I would say here, this Witch energy is just profound. It's crucial to believe in your abilities and to stay true to yourself. So this is about trusting in the magic within you. whatever it is that you are building and creating, it has the potential to be very, very successful, either in the material realm, financial realm, or if this is a relationship. I feel like these two could collaborate and work together, or you are working on, I mean, some of you, this is a coach or a mentor. Okay, this could be, maybe a Queen of Wands is helping you in some way, shape, or form, because despite some of the differences, I feel like the Queen of Wands is looking at her and she's willing to help. There may be help coming in from the person that you least expect them to help you, or the place where you least expect to find help is actually going to turn out to be better than you think. So Spirit, what is the outcome energy? Spirit said it's the witch. Okay, so remembering your power, remembering your magic, and they're showing me the ruby glass slippers, even though in this deck the slippers are more silverish, but they're showing me the tapping them together and saying no place like home, no place like home. So for some of you, it is about coming back home to yourself, and that will require perhaps a foundational shift here from the inside out. So I'm liking the month of October, but I feel like there is an important move that you are making, but you have to step into your power or really believe that you have what it takes. And I feel like you're setting yourself up for some sort of big milestone or success. Now, in the month of November, you have the flexibility card, but it did show up in reverse. So be mindful of stubbornness or overly tenacious ideas, or being around people who are just not willing to work with you in some way, shape, or form. Because if that can be flipped around, or if you're able to get to the point where flexibility is part of a situation, there could be, and a lot of happiness could be brought to the mix, because it's also card 19, which is the sun in tarot. So happiness and abundance. I also see some of you are working on your body, becoming more flexible in your body. This may have to do with circulation, okay? Lymphatic drainage for some of you. Yoga, or getting yourself back to an optical state of wellness is what I'm hearing. Yeah, I almost feel like for a lot of you, this could be even, a lot of you it's health, but it could be that there may be some shifts, there may be some delays that show up that require you to kind of adjust with them. But I feel like some of you are going to say, no, I'm not adjusting. That is not okay. And I feel like if that's your truth, if that is how you feel about something, then go all in, go for it here. Trust in your magic, right? Don't go with the crowd just because, right? Do your thing, and whatever you are meant or guided to not be flexible about, not bend, this could be you standing in place, standing in your power, not letting other people push your boundaries. So let's take a look. What's the flexibility all about in November? What do we have for Taurus, November 2024? We're going to see a lot of shifts in the month. Yeah, I was going to say a lot of shifts in the world, especially the United States, but we have the Judgment card here. So the Judgment card showing up with the High Priestess. There is two huge major arcanas. Wow. Yeah, you're going to really need to trust in yourself, because there is a judgment call being made, and Three of Swords in reverse. Because if you don't trust yourself in this situation, I feel like someone or something is going to try to bend you or coerce you in some way, shape, or form, and it could lead to disappointment or heartache. But I don't feel like you're going to go that path. Oh, for some of you, there's going to be a judgment call made around the heart and around some sort of pain. Now, if you've endured, let's say you've gone through a relationship that has broke your heart, I feel like this could be a month where you stand your ground. And maybe this person has been yo-yoing back and forth in your life, or there has been some sort of ongoing hurts. The Judgment card is a spiritual rebirth. It is self-awareness and second chances. It's also Scorpio energy, which November is Scorpio season. So I feel like this is a time of no going back. And so this flexibility card could be saying, you know, I'm not going to be flexible with you anymore. I've given you chance after chance, or I've allowed you to kind of bend my morals or my belief systems, and I'm not doing that anymore. So if this is a relationship, I feel like you're putting a stop to it just because the flexibility card is in reverse. I feel like you're not allowing yourself to be persuaded, shifted, manipulated, or any of those things, because you know that it's going to leave you feeling orphaned. Right? And remember what I said about subconsciously being aware? I mean, the judgment is about self-awareness. So things that may have been buried subconsciously that kept you doing something repetitively over and over, you weren't even realizing that that's what was happening. But I feel like you are now. That's why the judgment is showing up. This is letting go, not going back. You've gone through the trials and tribulations. You've gone through this passage. And I feel in the past, you may have had a little bit of a difficulty letting things go, or perhaps letting pain go, letting beliefs go. But this is a time of reckoning. Wow, this is a time of reckoning and bringing peace to your heart in some way, shape, or form. Now you have the High Priestess. Some of you are keeping this to yourself, or you may be disconnecting from an energy. If this is a work situation, you could be exiting because you have a new opportunity, because the judgment can be rebirth, but you may be keeping things quiet. But I like that the Three of Swords is actually showing up in reverse, because it means even if there has been unresolved emotional pain causing anger, bitterness, maybe even someone to go silent or ghost you or to go cold, or maybe you've done that, I feel like we're addressing it. I mean, we cannot not address a situation when the judgment card shows up, because this is the call. And when that call rings, right, we answer. And so I feel like this is going to be a big month for you, but try to be flexible within your own self. It may not be necessarily for others per se, but try to be flexible within your body, within your mind, within your soul, and try the best that you can not to shut down to bitterness or anger, or again, unresolved emotions, because that can cause dis-ease in the body. And that may be why I was picking up on such health stuff coming from this card. So working with, I'm getting two things here. Cardiologist, so maybe something around the heart. Oh, and we have the Three of Swords. So if there's been an issue around the heart, perhaps that's getting addressed this month. And I also see here the back. So perhaps some of you have had a back issue. Maybe this is a herniated disc or back surgery in some way, or you may be in need of a good massage, or I'm also hearing cranial sacral therapy. Now, I'm not a licensed professional. Please seek professional guidance. But I feel like health issues or concerns are finally being addressed. Something that may have been silent, or you may not have given it a lot of attention. It is coming up now for you to address, so you can live a more vital, healthier, successful life. So what's the final outcome for the month of November? I mean, you do have big major arcanas here, but what's the final outcome for the month of November, please? All right, the Sun, beautiful. So 19 is the flexibility card, and we said 19 was also the Sun in tarot. So Taurus, what makes you happy? What makes you happy this month? This is about pushing aside the ego for a moment, or, not dealing with other people's wounded egos, not allowing their egos to break your heart. I mean, we have healthy ego. We have wounded ego. We have inflated ego. We have an ego. It's part of the human experience, but it's up to us to feed whatever ego we want, right? It's our choice, but maintaining that sense of self and that sense of humility and humbleness can help us stay in that healthy ego. And I feel for some of you, you've dealt with people who've definitely been wounded in some way, shape, or form, but you're asking yourself the big questions in life. What truly makes me happy? And the sun is about abundance and vitality and confidence and playfulness. It is about success and warmth. And that's where you're heading towards, is, opening yourself up more to this abundance, wherever that may be in your life. But I feel like it starts within you. And it starts within you, not letting people manipulate, push, pull, persuade. Or, it may not even be a physical person. Like I said, this Queen of Pentacles could be a mother, or could be someone you had interacted with many, many, many moons ago, but they left such an imprint in your energy field that you're not even consciously aware, or at least not yet, that there's some patterns that are meant to be broken. So you can embrace happiness. So when that compliment does come your way, that you can accept it, right? So when happiness shows up knocking at your door, that you can welcome it in with warm, open arms instead of rejecting it. So let's take a look at December. I'm loving December. It is Milk and Honey. Card 51. Some of you may be 51 years old, or that could be a significant number. It also is a 6 energy. 5 and 1 breaks down to 6, which is about love. It's the Lovers in tarot, but it's also harmony and problem solving and loyalties and responsibilities. But you see the rainbow here. When do rainbows come in? After the storm, and it brings that new, fresh sense of, a new day has dawned, in a sense. It's like everything reawakens after stormy clouds. So let's take a look. Milk and Honey. And you actually see the sweet elephant, which I love elephants. And every time I see an elephant, it reminds me of the deity Ganesh, remover of obstacles. So I do feel like there's an obstacle that's been removed, and you're able to enjoy some of the sweet success that the milk and honey brings. Let's clarify what's going on in December. 4 of Cups. Yep. This is a big turning point. 6 of Cups. And we have the Devil showing up here. So bottom is the 7 of Swords. You are moving on from this toxicity, something that had betrayed you. Well, no wonder you're feeling isolated here or orphaned, because the Devil could be an attachment that you had to a belief system or to some sort of pain that had you feeling very much rejected or betrayed, because the 7 of Swords, bottom of the deck, it's not showing up here. So this isn't what's coming in. This is what you're releasing. And it's leading to a turning point emotionally, because your first card out is the 4 of Cups. 4 of Cups is a huge turning point, because a lot of you may have been focusing on the past, and maybe you were not aware that the past subconscious was creeping into your present everyday life, but you are being made aware now. And I feel like this is emotional stagnation being let free in some way, shape, or form. So something that you were sitting with that was very stagnant in your energy. Maybe you didn't feel inspired. Some of you felt isolated or alone for quite some time. Maybe you were feeling like you didn't have the magic that was really within you all along. When we go back to Dorothy and her ruby slippers, right? There's no place like home, and that home is within you. Now, 4 of Cups showing up here is letting go of the frustration, the boredom, the impatience, the stubbornness, the past. And it's finding inspiration with what you have right here, right now. So again, massive turning point emotionally. And then we have the 6 of Cups. 6 of Cups coming in. 6 of Cups is a beautiful card. You see the 2 lobsters there together, and the sun actually is shining in the distance, and you see all these creatures. There's the turtles, and there's an octopus, and there's just all these beautiful energies. And this is the card of kindness, soulmates, it's playfulness, it is childhood freedom. For some of you, the 7 of Swords And the devil has to do with childhood trauma or abandonment since you were a child that you're having a massive turning point in. Even if you are thinking, Mel, I've dealt with that, right? I've dealt with it. Perhaps you've done a lot of work, absolutely, but it's like getting a 9 out of 10 on your test, and perhaps that's a great score, but it's as if you had meant to get that 10 out of 10 because you had all the pieces, you'd studied hard, and the one little blip you were unaware of. I feel like you're getting a 10 out of 10 here. And it's finally, and 10s also represent what? Completions, endings. So instead of feeling like you're taking one step back constantly right before you hit something magical, I feel like this is it, untethered by the pain, untethered by the emotions of the past. And that is putting you, Taurus, in this state of milk and honey. Wow. Okay, I want to get a couple of clarifiers for December. Now, because I am getting some of you, December could be a significant month where there may have been a loss, or it could be a hard time for a lot of individuals. But I just feel like this year it's different. There's something about, making new traditions, making a new memory, or even being in a completely different space in your life than maybe last December, okay? I just feel that energy strongly here. Ace of Swords, there's the new beginning. Yeah, this is a newfound sense of clarity. This is enlightenment. When the Ace of Truth comes up, this is about finding solutions and coming up with an action plan. And like we said, that 6 can be about problem solving. And that's what I see happening here. It's as if the problems that some of you weren't even aware subconsciously why the problems. I mean, you were aware that there was a problem, but you weren't sure how to fix it, or you weren't sure how to deal with it. I feel like the milk and honey is saying, oh, but it's here. You have this ability to detach or disconnect from something that may have been unhealthy. I also see some of you may have chose earlier on in the year to cut out something from your life, and you're looking back in the month of December saying, wow, I've been sober for this long, or I've come this far and I'm feeling very happy and successful with where I'm at. So I just get such a strong, beautiful energy with this milk and honey. And look at this. You have the Page of Coins with the Wheel of Fortune, both in the upright as your clarifiers here. So like I said, this is a turning point. This is a turning point because if you've been stuck in that devil energy or some sort of toxicity, addiction, obsession, bondage of some sort, emotional bondage is what I'm getting for a lot of you, or if you've been manipulated or coerced, or if you've even been codependent, that is the emotional turning point that's happening here. I also get financially as well because of the Wheel of Fortune and because of the Page of Coins. Some of you, there's going to be a huge turning point in your finances and potentially news or a brand new opportunity for you to move, relocate, work with a new company or a new business. But this is looking beautiful. So you're hitting that end of the year going into 2025 quite beautifully, Taurus. All right, last but not least, let's get a couple of quotes for you, a couple of messages from guides, those that have crossed, or spiritual leaders. What do we have here? From Maya Angelou. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Isn't that the truth, right? Our emotions, we tether ourselves to them. We bond ourselves to them. So for some of you, if this was not a good experience, we don't always remember what, was said, or we don't always remember necessarily what they did. I mean, we do if we really dive into it, but we remember that they made us feel like crap, right? Or they made us feel disappointed or abandoned or rejected. That's the first thing we go towards. So make sure that you remember that when you treat and act towards others, okay? And I feel like you're a very wonderful soul inside and out, Taurus. But I also see if this is a situation that you've been hanging on to from someone else, you're going to detach and release that. Okay. Next we have Pablo Picasso. Everything you can imagine is real, right? Everything you can imagine is real. Now that's that witchy magic energy here as well. It's as if, you know, our life is a canvas, and whatever we define as, you know, in our imagination, we can bring to fruition in some way, shape, or form. So use that imagination. Turn your ideas into something lucrative on this material plane, because I feel like a lot of you are very, very, very brilliant, and you have had a lot of ideas lately, and try not to sit on them. Remember what we said about getting stuck in the planning stages in October? Try not to get stuck in that 3 of Wands in reverse energy where things get overwhelming, or we hesitate, or we get lost in the planning, that we don't move or we don't build. Remember, you can do it. And then lastly, Eleanor Roosevelt, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Oh, I love that one. I love all of them, but I feel like you have this opportunity to grab the world in your hands, right? The world is your oyster, and it is about you believing in yourself. We talk about that with the witch here, and your dreams are real. They're beautiful. We don't have to ignore them, avoid them, or let other people's beliefs manipulate us into thinking that they're not going to happen, right? Or even our own beliefs because of what we've gone through. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Taurus, that is what I have for you. I'm looking forward to Q4. I hope you are too. If this resonates, please hit that thumbs up button. Feel free to share, like, subscribe, hit that bell if you haven't already. And thank you so much for tuning in today. Lots of love.